Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to April 3rd live chats with Maggie and Bunny. Today, we're going to talk about time out. What comes to mind when I say time out to you? Is it a good thing or is it a punishment? Well, if you can tell from the palm tree over my shoulder, I'm on a timeout and I'm not in the Niagara region, Bunny.
And you're smiling on this time out.
And I'm smiling. I'm staying hydrated. I'm drinking more than just wine.
Yeah, that's definitely good to do. Especially because where you are, it's definitely warmer. Although we're having a pretty nice day in Niagara today. I don't know if you're keeping up on our weather. It's supposed to be about 14 degrees, but we're gonna get some rain later. But 14 degrees is pretty good. Yeah.
Well, it's cloudy and 30 here
Yeah.
today.
And we're talking in Celsius for anybody who doesn't do Celsius. So that's a little
Yes.
warm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it later on this afternoon is supposed to go to the Fahrenheit people in the 90s.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a little warm in the afternoon here, but there is a nice breeze. I'm in the Villages, Florida. There's a nice breeze. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
And Bunny likes to have Maggie go to where it's warm because Bunny prefers the cold. So
When Bunny does her timeout, it'll be in Iceland.
yeah. Hey, Iceland is pretty nice and it can get warm there too. But yeah, definitely Iceland, Scotland, in the Highlands too. It's pretty good up there too. But yeah, so we were talking about timeouts and how important it is, I think, to
Yeah.
take a timeout and in the good way, of course, not the timeouts we were thinking about when we were kids. Although, when I did timeouts for my kids, sometimes it was for me too, to
Yeah.
gather my um emotions together and be able to talk to my children instead of reacting. So I think that
Yeah.
in some way that's good too.
Yeah. And I think timeouts, not only are they good for your soul, they're good for your brain, they're good for everything. And
Mhm.
especially for me, like I've had timeouts in the last 2 years, but
Yeah.
this is my first time traveling since we were all in lockdown and stuck.
Yeah.
And I love having timeouts in the sunshine. So it's good for your soul. It's good to get away and think about life differently, because especially when you go on a vacation, you think about life differently.
Mm,
And for me anyway, I learned to appreciate all that I have.
right.
And the fact that I'm sitting here, I appreciate all that I have and live every moment and just love life.
Well,
And
I'm sure it helps too that the people that you're with, you have some good friends with you too, and it's
yep,
an all girls weekend or week, I guess.
all
Uh,
girls week.
yes.
Yeah.
So, and
I
the
would
people you
recommend
choose,
though,
yeah, the people you
I
choose
would
to go.
recommend though that you don't wear new shoes on the plane, because then your toes hurt
Yeah,
and you're starting off your vacation with blisters.
yeah,
So yeah, I those are my pointers.
yeah.
I also recommend you don't start drinking too early in the day, otherwise you miss part of the day when you fall asleep. Those are just the Maggie pointers.
And I know that you're spending some time actually waking up earlier or waking up early like you always do, but staying up a little bit later than you normally do, to kind
I
of
know.
squeeze out as much time, I guess, and
I
much
know.
fun as you can.
I know. I was saying before we went on here live last night, I stayed up 5 past 10. Like 5 past 10. Woohoo.
Yeah, but then what time were you up at? Like 5 a.m.?
No, I'm actually sleeping in here because
Oh.
I was not awake before it was past 5:30 when I woke up. So I'm actually finding that when I go to bed a little later, I sleep in
You sleep
because
in?
I didn't wake up until 5:30.
Well, I do love whenever you talk about the fact that no matter what you say, and I love this fact about you, you say, I got the right amount of sleep. I got the perfect amount of sleep. And that is always a good way to think about that. And so I love when you say that. And I'm trying to adopt that myself because of the weird sleeping patterns that I have. And yeah, I'm being a little less hard on myself about that. And I appreciate that for you. So I definitely am thanking you for that. And
Yeah.
um,
And I already met some wonderful people in the pool yesterday who I say made the mistake, even though it's a good mistake. made the mistake of asking me what I do, and then I talk about what I do.
Yeah.
And we ended up standing in the pool talking about death and dying. And this lady asked me if I believed in that her family member could speak to her after they were gone.
Yeah.
And she was telling me all about seeing the numbers 444. And
Yeah.
both her and her sister were in the pool. And she said, we're pretty sure it's our dad, but we didn't know if that really can happen. And I'm thinking, here I am in a whole different place.
Mm-hmm.
And spirit can send people for me to do what I'm passionate about, for me to
Yeah.
have those conversations.
Yeah.
You know, even last night, every night here, they have concerts and you go and listen to music and partake of a little drink if you want to. And every single night, somebody sits beside me that I can have a conversation with.
Yeah.
And last night, the lady sitting beside me talked about, you know, she's been living here for 7 years. And she said, we just decided to move here to just live our best life and to live before we die. And I said, because we need to do that every day.
Every day.
Every day,
Yeah.
live and have fun and just do it. And well, you know, Bunny, because you and I talk about it all the time, how exciting it is to me that it doesn't matter where I am. Creator sends people for me to have these kind of conversations with.
Well, I think that that's the whole thing with when you are doing, like, very often in our world, we're conditioned that work has to be hard and has to be something you don't like just to get you your money. But when you are working at your purpose, at the thing that you love to do, it doesn't feel like work. So for
Yeah.
you, even though you're promoting yourself and you're promoting, you know, you want to get out there and you know, as a death doula, like, talk about death and make it more you know, I don't even know what the word is, but where people talk about it more and you know, and have more discussions about it and have it not be such a taboo in our society. And you
Yeah.
get to do that all the time. So even though you're taking a time out, what it is you know, it's a different space and a different perspective, but you're not taking
Yeah.
a time out from your work. And I think even with me, it's the same thing, because I was having a discussion with my sister last night, and it was exactly the same thing about living life and being in the moment and
Yeah.
not worrying about yesterday, not worrying about tomorrow, but being today. And that was something that I learned when Steve died. Was I thought we were going to have so much more time. And so I
Yeah.
said, if there was one thing that I could change, which I wouldn't change it, but if I could, like, I don't live life with regrets, but if I could change something, I would have been more present. I would have
Yeah.
been more present in every moment. And that
Every
is
moment.
something that I have been learning too, is just being present in every moment.
Yeah. And that's what I take in here too. Like, even I said to my friend before I walked out into the screened in porch, I said, well, I'm going outside to work for a few minutes, even though it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And, you know, to the people that I talk to, when they say, well, what do you do? And I say, well, it depends what business you're talking about, because I help people die. I also help people publish books. And I also just became an ordained minister that I can
Yeah.
marry people. So it depends, because none of those things feel like work to me.
Right.
All of those things are things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
So every single time somebody says, what do you do? It starts a conversation about things that I'm passionate about. So far, nobody's looked at me like they're sorry they asked.
Yeah. I get that one. I understand that one, because when people ask me, what do you do? And I stop and pause and look at them and I go, I talk to dead people. That just kind of, they stop for a second. But I do much more than that. But that is definitely the thing that I like to
Yeah.
do as the first thing. And again, like you, with our Add Above and Beyond, we do help so many people in so many different ways. And it is
Yeah.
fulfilling and it is incredible. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
And in the same way that you said about you love the fact that I always say that I get enough sleep for whatever I'm doing, it's the same thing with this. I know that everywhere I go, no matter what I'm doing, I meet the people I'm supposed to meet.
Right.
And I have the conversations that I'm supposed to have,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
that's just the way I embrace life.
Right.
And for now and for every moment of my life, I want to be telling people to live your best life every day.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up and live. Don't live like you're dying. Live like you're living.
Yeah.
And do it every day passionately, and follow those things that you're passionate about. don't waste time doing things that you're not passionate about,
Right.
because we are programmed to believe that we have to do those things. What if you don't?
Right.
What if you don't?
And I
What if
mean,
you can make money doing what you're passionate about and
and
that can be your
and I
job?
understand sometimes some people are going to listen to this and they're going to be like, well, I can't do that because I have this or however their life had created. And like I told my sister and even my mother this weekend too, is like, look, think about the person who you want to become, the life you want to lead, and what that person would be doing. And add one small thing. So if you
Yeah,
say, I want to have a life of freedom where I can sleep in, or I don't have to set an alarm, or I can drink tea on the porch every morning. Do something that will cost you very little money. If that's a worry, something that will be
yeah,
able to do. And every step you won't believe how in 5 years, if you take these small steps, your life
yeah,
would look so much different. So
yeah.
much different.
Because you don't have to climb the whole mountain all in
Right.
one day.
Yeah.
You don't have to climb the whole mountain.
Right.
You can do it a little bit at a time and do those things that are possible for you. You
Hmm.
know, could I have, when my children were younger, could I have just stepped out and lived the life that I was passionate about? No, I had to be making the money that I needed to make at that time.
Right.
But also, we have the ability to ask Creator to change things for us. And when the opportunity comes for those changes, you can do them. Like you said, if it's have a cup of tea in my morning, every person could wake up a half an hour earlier so you can
Right.
have a half an hour to sit on your porch and have your tea.
Yeah.
Cost you nothing.
Yeah. And
Cost you nothing.
I actually saw this other thing that happened, and I've started doing this myself. It said if you take 18 minutes every day and do one thing, at the end of the year, you have done it for 100 hours and you're ahead of everybody else. 95% of people, you've done that thing more than 95% of the people. And I decided that I was going to start singing every day for 20 minutes at least, because I love to sing and it brings me such joy, and it's my time out from life, and it fills my soul, and um it helps me become resilient to
Yeah.
the things that are going to come up in my life or come up in my day, if I'm already on that positive higher vibe kind of living. So if I can do something like that, and I just put on some music, and I'll, if
Yeah.
headphones, if everybody else is sleeping, and I will just listen to the music and sing along with it for at least 20 minutes a day. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
longer. and
Yeah.
and and I know that, that will help me. And so that's my little timeout.
Yeah. And the important thing is, as well, is you don't have to be perfect at it.
No.
You don't have to be perfect at it to try. You know, I practice mindfulness and meditation. I can tell you authentically that yesterday I had a difficult time for a little short span of it. I didn't beat myself up for it, but we were all around the pool and we were having a conversation, and something happened that my reflex
Reflect.
kicked in, and I could not stop doing this gagging,
Oh,
because it was
oh,
just something was said that triggered me.
oh no.
And one of the other girls that was with us came over and she goes, Maggie, just meditate, meditate, meditate. But at that moment, I could not. I couldn't get out of it. My body was physically doing something that it knows how to do.
You're right.
But at the same token, I don't beat myself up for that.
Hmm.
I don't, because
Right.
those moments happen. So don't ever think just because I practice mindfulness and for 35 seconds I couldn't do it, I'm not going to not do it the rest of the day.
Right. 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 Yeah.
I'm not going to say to myself, oh, well, you really screwed it up there, so you might as well quit this.
Right.
No, if you're not living the life that you want to live, just do it
Right.
1 second at a day. And if you screw up with it, start over.
Yeah.
Don't have to be perfect.
No.
Nobody has to be perfect in this world. Just do your best and try.
Thank
And,
goodness I don't have to be perfect.
no.
Thank
And
goodness.
it's like, live the life you want in the moment that you have. You
Right.
don't have to always be a positive thinker if you want to be that kind of person, but
Hmm.
you can practice, one time when you notice you're being negative, you can just go, oh, maybe there's a positive side to that. Doesn't mean that you're not a positive person just
No.
because you have a negative thought.
Yep.
Just because I drink too much wine one day doesn't mean I'm not a healthy eater. just because I eat chocolate cake one day doesn't mean I only eat desserts.
Right. It's
It's
true.
living life in balance, and we beat ourselves up too much. Just
We
don't do
definitely
it.
do.
When you
Yeah.
need a timeout, take it.
Take it. Take it.
And like you said, and it was the same thing for me when my kids were little. Sometimes when they went to timeout, it was because mommy wasn't good.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It was, and I used to tell them, mommy needs a timeout.
Right.
And the only way I can give myself a timeout is if you go to your room.
Right. And I don't
Because
care
it
what you do in there,
changed.
but you need to just
Yeah,
leave me alone
it
right now.
it changed the way I parented.
Right.
It changed the way I did life. So
Right.
sometimes we just need a timeout for ourselves.
Yep.
So that's what I tell people. If you need one, don't beat yourself up.
No, definitely not. And if
So
you need
to
a
our
nap,
audience
if you need
that's
whatever,
listening, just
whatever
do
you
what you need to do.
do what you need to do. That's what we're doing. We're doing way more of that. And every day, just do a little bit more of what you need to do.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. For
well,
sure.
I think we're gonna let Maggie get back to her vacation now, back to her timeout, back to her fun in the sun. You keep it. No, I'm just kidding. It's coming this way. I know you're gonna bring it home with you, but that's okay. But yeah, so that's it for this week. Remember, our podcasts do release on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and wherever everything podcasts. Also, if you ever want to reach out to us, go ahead and email us at aboveandbeyond@gmail.com. Bye for now.
Bye for now.